Thank you very much. It's great to be back here in Marshalltown. This is my third visit to Marshalltown that I've done over the past 3 months, and you folks must be important. Maybe it has something to do with your proximity to Ames. I don't know, but you know, we've been in our campaign scratching and clawing to get recognized, and last night I had to scratch and claw to get recognized and finally get some questions asked of me. But you know, that's what happens when you stand up and you fight for the social conservative values, and you're a values candidate. They tend not to pay as much attention to you in the national media when you talk about those issues. They like to leave those issues for the end of the debate. They like to leave those issues for the sort of categorize them, instead of understanding that the social conservative issues are central to all of the issues that we have in this country. We can't have a strong economy, for example, unless we have people who live good and decent moral lives. Look at the problems that we have as a result of the 2008 meltdown. What was at the core of that was people who were marketing both housing and the paper related to that housing who knew that they were doing wrong, who knew that the paper that they were selling was worthless, and they continued the scheme, Ponzi out. I mean, one pyramid after another. So if we don't have a country that has people with sound moral values, then we can't have an economy that is going to be. Let's try that again. Here we go. And secondly, we have to have a country that's based on families. The first economy is the family. Look at any statistical analysis of how families do with respect to whether they're two-parent families, man and woman, whether they're a single-parent family, and you compare that, a divorced family or never married family, and what you'll find is that economically, socially, healthcare-wise, how they do in school, how children do in school, whatever measurement you have as to the health of that family, children and mothers and fathers, parents do better in two-parent families than not. So why isn't it the policy of this country to promote that? Why isn't it the policy of this country to make sure and stand by traditional marriage in the family as the building block of society? It is best, not because God said, yes it is because God said, but also because it is objectively best for our society, for men, women, and children. And so I sort of always objected to the way this was handled last night. Was so you give these 2 or 3 questions on the quote social issues, and not understanding how integrated they are to everything that we are in this country. And as I've traveled around the state of Iowa, I've tried to make that case that America is a moral enterprise, that America stands on foundational beliefs, that our rights come to us from God, and God not only gives us the rights, but He tells us what to do with those rights. Right? So God is not just someone who says, hey, here are these rights, go heck, do whatever you want with them. No, our founders didn't believe that. But yet we have some people, as Jane mentioned, on the right and on the left, who now believe that. Who believe that we can do whatever we want to do. Well, the pursuit of happiness, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, when God gave us the right to life, He gave us the right to exercise freedom that He gave us. He didn't say, exercise that freedom and do whatever you want to do. And that's not what our founders believed. Our founders believed not in a freedom to do whatever you wanted to do, but a freedom to do what you ought to do. Not a freedom from government or anybody else, or any of your neighbor, or even people who you're close to, but a freedom for something bigger than yourself. It was a purposeful freedom, a freedom to follow God's will in your life. That's how our founders saw this country. And that's what we have to get back to. A country that is based on those values, because as John Adams said, our Constitution was made for a moral and religious people and is wholly inadequate for the governance of any others. And so when we talk about values, we talk about the importance of faith, we talk about the importance of family, we talk about the centrality of life. All of those things are the basis upon which our country stands. And no economy or no military that does not have that foundation can long keep this country free and safe and prosperous. And I was the only person on that stage last night who was in Iowa campaigning to make sure that the foundational principle of marriage being between one man and one woman was fought for on the state level. And that differentiates me, as you heard last night, from other people on that stage who said, oh, states have the rights to do whatever they want to do. Somehow the 10th Amendment gives the states the right to do, whatever they want. Well, of course, that's not what the 10th Amendment says. States, as Abraham Lincoln said, did not have the right to do wrong. And what had happened here in Iowa was wrong. What happened in New York just a few weeks ago was wrong. And if we don't have leaders who are willing to stand up and say that is wrong, and go to those states and make sure that we as national leaders set out a clear course that marriage is what marriage is. And if we aren't going to willing to fight for that, then don't hide behind the federal marriage amendment.